So how much should you figure to have in place per month to buy a house? What should you budget for your monthly costs of home ownership? So it's kind of a big question, and I'm going to try to make it very, very simple. Today's tip obviously is for buyers. So number one, it's not as simple as just figuring out what your mortgage payment is. That would be great, but there's a lot more to it. And again, as any client that has worked with me knows that I say this a lot, the more you see, the more you know. The more you know, the better choices you make, right? In terms of real estate. And probably life in general. So the mortgage payment is just the first piece. And there's lots of great mortgage calculators. If you don't know where to find them, you can reach out to me and I'm happy to send over a link so that you've got one handy. But there's two other pieces that are also very important. The taxes for the property and the insurance. Now, a lot of lenders will roll those three things into one payment. I love to do it that way because it takes the thinking out of it. Or even if you just roll in the taxes and the mortgage payment, that's huge because God forbid you forget to pay your taxes. It's not a good scenario. And you want to make sure that all of your payments are on time in an ideal world. So you're taking your mortgage payment, the taxes, and the insurance, home insurance. What is it going to cost? Did you make sure that it's not in a flood zone? If it's in a flood zone, your bank might require that you have flood insurance. And now that insurance number goes up quite a bit a month. So again, if you're taking all those three things into account and you're starting to look at houses, when you have the details on a listing that you're visiting, make sure to check what the taxes are because they can completely vary one town to another. So, and I'm not going to throw any towns under the bus, not in this video, but we have a few towns in the Berkshires that have incredibly high taxes, probably still not as high as some other states that I won't mention, but they are higher and they're known notoriously for having a higher tax rate. So don't just figure out what your mortgage payment is. Figure out also what the taxes are going to be for that particular property. Look at the annual taxes, divide it by 12, right? Then you get your insurance costs. You're going to get a quote for insurance. Divide that by 12. And they may have you, if you keep your insurance separate of your mortgage payment, they might have you pay it up front. They might break it down into payments. That's something that you have to talk about with your insurance agent. So again, it's not just the mortgage payment. There's a lot more to it. In addition to that, now, if you want to get a little bit more in the weeds, now you've got your monthly payment figured out. Mortgage, taxes, insurance. What else should you have ready to be a homeowner? Well, I'm a big fan of having an emergency fund. So, for example, let's just say the roof springs a leak, or your boiler goes out in the middle of the winter and it's not a choice whether you replace it. If your boiler goes out in the middle of the winter with the extreme temps that we get out here, you better replace it quickly because you don't want any frozen pipes. So with all of that said, all those things, roof, boiler, random things, I like to have, if I had all my buyers in a place where they could have, let's just say, $5,000 to $10,000 of emergency savings in place, that would be amazing. Now, if you're not there yet, just start to put a little bit away every month so that should something happen where you suddenly need to fix something very quickly, you've got the resources to do that. So again, it's not just about, oh, I can definitely make that payment. It's about, can I make that payment and have a little extra every month to put in an emergency savings account? I hope this was helpful to somebody. This is Tanya. I'll see you for the next tip.